everybody, and welcome to Friday afternoon here on Tales from the Grim. I am going to be incredibly brief because I have been waiting since last week this time to play this game right here. We are going to be playing some Cypher systems brought to you by Monty Cook Games and powered by the imagination of our fantastic GM Alice. And so as we get ready to again jog along the Aether's Walkway, I will let you all know that we are here to tell a tale that is collaborative. If you would like to take part in said tale, you may look straight down and see some donations, that options that are available to you. I will remind everyone that here on Tales from the Grim, any donations that are accumulated during the course of this session will be split evenly amongst the cast. So any donations that you give during this time will be given to the players that you see. And so with that being said, we know why we are here to tell a collaborative tale. How can we be here? We have a fantastic sponsor in Roll20, www.roll20.net/start/Tales from the Grim. Get you a free account. So the social distancing and sheltering in place does not mean that the tales have to end. You can trade in your wooden kitchen table and switch it up for a virtual tabletop, and do so on our virtual tabletop of choice, Roll20. Now, I'm done. Let's play this game. Alice, take us away to this place that I have wanted to go. I feel like I'm going into Cheers. Everybody yell Norm. Let's rock.
Okay, let's dive straight in then. And in the world that we're in the world of Nalmerius, the streets are watched or protected by a civil force known as the Monitors. And they are here to maintain the peace, and they have been gifted to society by the Supremacy. And we find all of our characters here today, but we find Livewire, Cantor, and Loxy in a very, very small room up high. We're in the watch station facility. You're in this waiting room for interviews, 4 grey walls and one large glass window that sort of looks out over Nalmerius, and it's showing everything that's going on outside. You can see lots and lots of hover cars and bikes whizzing by sort of in streams as they go past. One of the huge holograms is outside, sort of projecting from one of the large screens, advertising either the latest soda or the latest fast food that is going on in the city at the time. You can see every now and then, like the screen itself sort of fizzles and flicks to a different scene as it starts to cycle through, giving maybe a little bit more of a pleasant sight. You can see Osira up there, but otherwise these are very plain, very grey walls. And there are 3 doors off of this room. 2 of them are interview rooms, and one of them is one of the doors that you came in. You have already watched Mingzu sort of go into one of these interview rooms, and one of these interview rooms already had someone in it when you arrived. You can see an officer by the door. They sort of come in every now and then and check on you, but otherwise, just Loxy, Cantor, and Livewire, you are in this waiting room. You can see one of those plant pots that is definitely a hologram, again, sort of flickering in and out as it does. But what are the 3 of you doing in here? Are you talking? Are you sitting in silence? What is running through your head at this time?
I would say probably for about the 3rd time, Cantor would have turned to Lox and said, I made a list of everybody that was in the shop. We'll be able to get them back, and you won't lose any business.
Good, thank you, Cantor. Did you find out who sent that guy?
I'm afraid not, no.
All right.
About 5 minutes later, I made a list of everybody. You won't lose any business.
After like the 3rd time, Loxy just pats him on the back. Yeah, man, thanks.
And Livewire's quiet on the outside, but on the inside, Livewire is sub-vocalizing to their stream. So, we're in the monitor station. There was a murder. I didn't get to film it, but you got to see the body. Who could have done it? Who was the villain? Who committed murder on the streets? This is the kind of stings that you all tune in for, I'm sure. Maybe I'll figure it out. At the moment, I can tell you this, the monitor stations are very clean. Well, although the plants have not been fixed for a while, I don't know who their virtual mechanic is. They should work on that. I wonder what it's going to be like. I'm not nervous, though. Hey, you should know that our sponsors for today are hats. Sponsors are hats. Buy hats. Also, Purple Moon Bar. Best bar. Some of your favorite reality stars go to that bar and drink and get into fights. You should go to the Purple Moon. Best bar.
As you were sort of advertising this, you can see a static go across your screen, almost like your vision, and a sort of a female face pops up and looks directly back at you through your vision. It's like, broadcast has been interrupted for public safety.
I hope my can I at least put my Be Back Soon screen up?
Broadcast has been interrupted for public safety, and you can just feel it like putting that strain as if it's trying to shut it down.
I zip over to the Be Back screen and whoosh, right? I power down and I just shake my head.
Okay. Zarina, you are in the other interview room. And you have been called in after the events of this morning, effectively.
Yeah.
And you are in there with one of the moderators. He's introduced himself as moderator Barton. He's around 6'4", pretty tall, dark hair, a lean sort of build. He's got a bit of a uniform on. They're not really, they are identifiable. They seem to be a very dark blue, very, very simple, very, very plain. And you can tell from the way he sits across you, he has two modified eyes, both sort of swirling and locking, and you can see them zooming. You know this stuff. You can also see a plate that seems to sit across the side of his face from one of the eyes and goes down his neck, and as far as you can tell, further down as well.
Okay.
The room is literally a table, 2 chairs, and also hovering around, again, very, very normal, is this droid, almost like a flat disc with a few sort of like bits on top of it, and you know it's just scanning you to know who you are, to take fingerprints, everything, and it just circulates the room. And he steps forward and puts the parcel down on the counter where this thing had burst out of it. He's like, so you're saying someone sent this to you? Do you normally receive packages of this sort? Is he sort of looking in at these different mods?
I'm a certified modification tester, so yes, it is not out of the ordinary for me to receive packages of the like.
Right. And he just sort of watches for a moment. You can tell with his eyes, one of them looks down and scans, the other one doesn't move from you. And you can hear that droid sort of whirring around and beeping as it goes. So, well, first of all, I'm very, very sorry for any inconvenience, is putting it lightly, this could have caused you. It is something we are looking into. We have spoken to the maintenance man of your building, he is relaying a very, very similar thing. It being thrown off one of the main balconies, however, caused a little bit of a problem. There were 3 vehicles taken out as it went down. And do you have any idea why this could have been sent to you?
No, that is the most troubling part about all of this, sir. I do not know why someone would wish me ill.
And he nods. And then he sort of reaches into his pocket. So it appears that someone really did. And he pulls out a glass sort of vial and puts it on the table. And you can see another one of these things in it as it's sort of fighting at the glass. You hear it tapping as if it sees you, it sees him, it sees the advancements and starts trying to fight its way out. You know, it can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a scan of your apartment and we found this one in your groceries.
Oh dear. This is very troubling.
It is, Miss Nix. I'm not too sure what this means, but I would like you to take extra precautions. We can advise some different
course,
implants
please.
that monitor these sorts of things, if that would be helpful.
That could be very helpful indeed. I do not wish to have another incident of this sort again.
No, I don't imagine anyone does. And he gives a bit of a smile. How did you spot it, as it were?
Well, I had just come back to my apartment after getting groceries, and I noticed a couple of things were out of place in my home, and I noticed especially around the packages, and I heard a noise of sorts, so I opened the box, and then it attacked me.
Sort of nods. Was anything else missing from your apartment?
Missing? No, I don't believe so.
We advise a 24-hour scan once a day. We will come across and scan the apartment for any sort of looks down at this creature. As you can hear it clanking against the glass as it's trying to get out. Infestations.
Of course.
Normally where there's one, there are more.
Mm-hmm.
We currently have an officer at your house scanning. Non-modded, of course.
Of course. For safety.
For safety. And he nods. Well, if you would please wait in the room next door. We do have a few questions. I'm just going to run these scans by. And he walks over to the door and opens it and holds it open for you. Please.
Thank you, sir. And she'll get up and leave and head towards the lobby. Or the waiting room.
And Livewire, Cantor, and Loxy, you see Zarina as she walks in. Zarina, again, as I said, this is a very plain room. The chairs are not comfortable. They are very much those plastic chairs that sort of squeak across the floor when you sort of sit on them and you hear them creak. But you do walk into the room with these 3 other individuals sat in here.
I stand up immediately, like in shock. I do have a question though. So normally when people look at Livewire, they see what Livewire looks like depends on who they are. Like the most sort of appealing thing they want to see is what they see. Zarina, you see the least appealing thing that you would ever want to see. What does Livewire look like to you?
I think Livewire looks a lot like Danny DeVito to Zarina. Short, round man, gray balding hair.
Little greasy, maybe.
Little greasy, yeah.
And Livewire just stands up, sort of a little bit in shock. You can have my chair, and sort of like steps aside.
Are there enough chairs in the waiting room for everyone?
Oh, there's lots of empty chairs as well. There's lots of empty chairs. Like,
I think she goes, thank you, sir, but I think I'll sit over here, and this chair is already vacant. So
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yes.
Loxie's gonna lean in toward Livewire. Like, what is that about?
Looking like sort of like this for Loxie, like a slightly older guy with the cool car keys, like the expensive car keys on the belt.
Gonna flip up my goggles. Just see Livewire as he is.
Then Livewire sort of looks like a sort of like a Latinx man with like a luchador mask, who's a little bit of stubble. Let himself go a little bit, kind of a Mario Lopez. Nothing. What? Hey, that was crazy. The murder, huh?
Yeah. Lots of crazy things happening today.
I've got some news for you. That look, my friend Connie, her AI was attacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she came to tell me that this has been happening, and these things called, and making sure that other people can't hear, feeders, like these creatures have been sort of being set loose by someone to attack. So there's something going on, and I just figured, considering your garage, you might want to know about it. And I don't know.
Thank you for letting me know. I wouldn't want any of those things getting in, like, wreaking havoc, you know?
how quiet is this conversation going on?
Quiet. But but the thing is, you might be augmented for hearing. Do
I was
you know
gonna
what I
say,
mean? Like,
how modified are you, Zarina?
Oh, how modified is Zarina?
Exactly.
Oh, Loxie knows how modified you are. The goggles. Flip down. See your
Very
machinery.
modified. Yes. Probably more mods than human parts. So if they look super, because this guy's acting a little sketchy after he just jumped up, offered her the chair, I think she would be paying attention, like, does he have something to do with this? Is that why he's here? And so she'd be listening in if she could.
yeah, I imagine that he is quiet so that a non-modded person would not hear the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine you just have like that kind of CSI thing where you like the audio version of like, like I imagine enhance. You know, I imagine you have that. So I imagine you could hear that complete conversation, including the weird like, yeah, who was that? Murder. Wasn't that weird? Murder.
What a very subtle subject change.
Wow, these feeders, huh?
But I mean, is it not a subtle subject change? I feel like murder is the big thing, right?
That is why we're here, but it's not why you're acting weird.
Trooper, you're talking with Lox, and if Cantor's nearby, he would wait for the appropriate pause in the conversation and lean forward and say, "Connie's on the list." Just nod.
What does Livewire look like to Cantor?
Looks a little bit like Michelle Pfeiffer. It's a touch.
What am I wearing? I need to know.
It would be.
Yeah, we do.
This would be a pair of what would pass in this universe as combat fatigues.
Oh. And then I just and the thing is, I've known Cantor long enough that I don't know exactly what I look like to other people. I just know that it is what is most appealing to them. But when you get to know someone long enough, you kind of get a sense of how they're responding to you, and I'm pretty good at them responding in return. So I get a sense that I look like a Michelle Pfeiffer to you, and so I just give you this sort of smile and a wink.
You would.
Gross, Livewire.
You look away, be a bit uncomfortable, but just kind of nod.
And over in the other interview room, Hybria, you have been guided into the room very quickly, very efficiently. The scans have gone round, and another officer, a Zakaran, luminous yellow skin. You can tell they're male without because they don't have the long sort of bat-like ears. Very stern face, very sharp eyes, completely same color as the skin. Sort of gives you a bit of a smile. Looks through some papers they seem to have in front of you. You can see that the papers themselves, the words on them flicker and update. And they start to look through them. And they sit on the chair opposite you. And he looks at you. Miss Zen Fang, is that correct?
The correct pronunciation is Jen Fang.
Jen Fang. And you see him sort of take out this sort of almost like little plastic and start updating some of the documents. He's like, first of all, I have been informed of your family, and I am so sorry. You have been dragged into all of this. I'm afraid I must ask you a few questions, just a few. Did you recognize he seems very nervous. He's sort of like, you get the feeling it's probably because of your name. And he looks at, did you recognize the victim or the person in question who did sorry, this is very unprofessional of me, the person who shot the victim?
I feel like in contrast to their nerves, Hybria is just like very extremely calm. It's kind of like the reverse of an interrogation room usually. So she's just sitting there, like absorbs everything. She also at some point managed to change her outfit. So she's now wearing this like floor length. She wanted something more like monitor stationist. So it's like this very silvery floor length trench coat and just plain blacks underneath. And she'll blink at him and just say, "No, this is my first time visiting this planet."
He's like, yes, no, I did see that. So you did not recognize them at all?
No, I did not recognize either of them. I apologize I was not able to be more help for you.
No worries, Miss Feng. So just so we just so we know, I'm afraid I have to ask this question, but you were spotted down by the black market district, and I just need to, check maybe why were you lured down there? Was there some sort of did you get lost, or I just have to ask.
Yes, I understand that this is an interrogation and you must discover all of the details surrounding this incident. I do not judge you or hold anything against you for that. First of all, though, I would request that you use my full family name, which is Zhen Feng.
And
Feng.
I
Zhen Feng.
And you see him write it. You see him write it down like yes.
To my whereabouts and why I was spotted in the black market district, it is a matter of some personal privacy that I would request perhaps does not get outside of this station. Otherwise, there may be consequences for those who are involved here, namely you, as you are the one here interrogating me. But I was down in the black market district because I am on a search for my esteemed older brother, Li Wei Archer Zhenfeng.
Okay. So,
and I was inquiring to his whereabouts because, unfortunately, my esteemed older brother has had some less than reputable contacts, which I thought might be located in that district.
Right, and you see him sort of flick with his fingertips on the paper, and it changes again, and you can see Archer's pitch, and it's like, yes, we have had reports on him missing from when it first. We are doing all we can to find him. You really don't need to put yourself in those dangerous situations. I don't know if you're sure, but the black market is not necessarily somewhere you want to go. There's a lot of interesting characters down there, shall we say?
I would imagine so. And I apologize if this comes across as rude, but I would not presume to tell me what I need.
Right. Okay. Yes, they said you might be like this. Okay. Sort
is
of like
they?
looks over. Well, as you must understand, with your family name and everything, we have informed your parents that you are here.
That is understandable and acceptable. I will
They
deal with them as need be.
and he sort of gives you a very sort of side eye look. He's like, I mean, I'm afraid they are sending a car now to pick you up.
That is displeasing to me.
I apologize. As he sort of like looks you over, sort of slightly unsure. He's like, but if you could maybe wait in the waiting room over, and he sort of quickly jumps up and heads towards the door to open it.
She will-
That is all my questions. Thank you. We will let you know when the car is here and when your family is here.
She places her hands very delicately on the table and just stands up slowly and turns her head towards him and says, "Am I to understand that I am being formally detained until my parents have collected me? Am I being legally detained
Yes,
by the monitors?"
everything is completely legal, I assure you.
Right.
But yes, you are, and he looks so awkward saying it, being detained. But I assure you, we can. Would you like some tea? Anything to eat, or you are not meant to feel like a prisoner or anything like that.
Am I being detained by the letter of the law or by my parents' power?
And he pauses and quickly heads back to his notes and starts checking. He's like, if this or he starts reading through it. I think it's both.
Understood. Thank you, sir. I would like some tea as well for everyone in the waiting room.
Right.
There is a specific kind of white tea from my home planet that would be very comforting to me.
Oh, I'm sure we can manage that. That's fine. And he sort of sticks his head out of the side of one of the doors, and he's like, "Tari, can you go get some tea?" Like as he sort of like leans out, and you can see the other officer by the door who just gives a quick nod and dashes out, and he sort of holds the door open for you to step out.
Yeah. As I step through the door, I'll just turn very sharply one side and look at him and say, "You have been most proper during this, and I appreciate your assistance, but I would also like for that tea to be hot. Please ensure that it is scalding hot."
Hot
Thank you.
tea. Hot tea. Tari, hot tea! As he sort of like yells again out of the side of the door. But he sort of leads you out, and at the same time, you can see the other officer from the other room. The other officer points straight at Loxy and sort of makes that sort of gesture for you to come in, and the other one, the slightly more nervous one, gestures to Livewire for you to come in as well.
Livewire's been looking at Zarina the entire time.
Serena is slightly distinctly uncomfortable that this weird guy, slightly sketchy guy who's talking about feeders being in places is staring at her. She just kind of takes it, just kind of sits awkwardly, waiting.
Livewire is not used to people looking uncomfortable around them. That's weird.
Just kind of looks away, then glances every so often to see if Livewire is still looking, and then it's like, oh shit, he is.
And then I'm looking, and then I'm like, oh, look away, look back. No, this is not what. But when I go with the officer, and I just sort of I kind of just give Loxy a shoulder punch, like a little, like a friendly shoulder punch, like we're gonna be fine, like that kind of. I don't know how convincing it is to themselves or to other people. Just sort of like a we're going into interrogation shoulder punch.
Loxy's just gonna give him like one of these, like. And she'll get up and follow the officer into the interrogation room.
Okay. Cantor, could you roll me an intellect check of 2, please, as well as Zarina, as you are both there.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I'm going to spend some effort on this, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Zarina's luck is changing.
It's better than last week, at least.
It's better than last week.
Yeah.
Okay. So the both of you are sat in this waiting room. You can see that Livewire and Loxy have just been guided in, and Hybria sort of goes to take a seat after talking about tea. But you look towards that huge window, and it is sort of glitching a little bit again, like it's almost like it's losing signal, and you show that same window again looking out over the city, and there's just a brief moment where it's like when you hear a nail tap on glass, and you're high up. This isn't there's no walkway outside of this window, but it's almost like metal on glass. And Zarina, the reason you first notice it is because it sounds almost like the thing in the jar where it's metal on glass.
Mm-hmm.
And Cantor, you can hear it almost like it's nagging at you. It's like it's another sound that has entered the room, and it's for you almost hear like a high-pitched whine more than anything.
Can I act on this?
Yes, absolutely.
He would pretend like the pen that he had to make the list that he's checking twice, he drops it to the ground, and as he leans down, he pulls off the side of the fingerless gloves to reveal the L of his forefinger and thumb, and places it against the floor flush, and that blue-lined digital circuitry begins to glow for a second. I'm going to perform a scan if I can.
Okay. Absolutely. Just for me to tell you how much you pick up, roll another straight intellect check for me. Okay. You sort of you send off that scan, and you see almost like that blue trail of those as the scan sort of takes off. You see it run up through the walls, and it's picking up on something. And the first thing you detect is that there is mechanical here, but it's a mod. It's not built. And you notice it run across the floor. There's like that tiny little, almost like glitter of blue as it sweeps across the floor. And as it does, it heads towards the door you all came in through. And as it does, it opens. And an officer steps in with a man, hand on his shoulder. And this man's head is down. It looks nervous, looks awkward. And there's almost like you can only see half the side of this person's head has this very, very vibrant green hair, this almost plate, and you can see all the wire, you can see all the almost like these lights and the wiring across the side of the face that goes down. You can see his arm is mechanical, but it's awkward mechanical. His arm is a lot bigger than his other one. You can see it. It's almost like he's just too clunky and you can see him tapping his foot out of anxiousness. He just seems off. He's guided to one of the chairs and he sits down, and he sits with his head sort of lolling a little bit. He doesn't seem completely with it. You can definitely see, again, one of these sort of cybernetic like eyes, and this one again bigger than his other eye. It's too big. It's like he's been put together wrong. And you can tell that as you scan this, it's almost like there's a part of him that was outside for a moment, but you can tell that in this room right now, he's here. You're picking up on every single sort of electrical sort of wave he is sending off. You can tell that this man in front of you, who's now sat right across from you, toe tapping, knee juddering, sort of half looking up around the room without trying to make any eye contact. There is very little human left in this person. They're not a broken, but you feel, and I'll say Zarina, you sort of look, you've seen people go wrong, and you can tell this person is on the edge.
Yeah. Does he look more legit, or does he have a lot of black market stuff, like obvious?
Oh, this is all black market.
Yeah,
because
figured.
as Cantor's seen, everything is out of place. It's too big. It's nothing is like matched to him.
Okay. She'll make note of that.
Alice, is this something that could be, if there is a buildup of power inside, something that would denote not instability so much as like the precursor to action? Like, am I looking at somebody that's ready to do something, and because of their mechanical tendencies, their intent is manifested in like energy buildup, something that Cantor could read as
You don't read it as like energy buildup. If anything, you're picking up very little. It's almost like he doesn't have full connection to everything attached to him.
Okay.
More than anything. It does feel unnerving, more because not making eye contact. He's sort of been the officer doesn't leave his side. The officer stands next to him, hand on shoulder.
Hybria would first check, is this her brother? Does it look anything like her brother?
It's not Archer.
Okay, cool. Just had to make sure. So noting that, she's just gonna like kind of involuntarily shudder, and like no matter where he is sitting in relation to her, she's just gonna like scooch away ever so slightly and like turn away.
Okay.
Waiting for her tea. Bringing in prisoners, but not her tea yet. Oh my goodness.
You can hear a rush from somewhere, which sounds like someone is doing something about it, but it's not here yet.
Good.
In the interview room, however, Livewire, you've got this. Seems to be less anxious now that you're in here. And he sort of looks over to you, pulls up some screens. So, you are. They call you Livewire? You are muted, I think.
Sorry, I have some mods, but that's one word, Livewire, correct. It's nice to be here in such terrible circumstances.
And he looks at you. So you stream things?
That is correct. I'm on the up. I just got a sponsor from Hats.
A sponsor from Hats? Oh, everything's looking up in the world for you then.
Yes, that's right.
So we were running some scans over the things you saw today, and you didn't seem to catch the important bit.
No.
I thought it was, what is it you streamers say? Always be streaming?
Yes, if I could have gotten that murder, I would have gotten a lot more views.
Views, yes. A lot of policies against you, also, yes.
Really? If I'm just on the
Yes.
street and things happen, that's not my fault.
No, it's not, but it still makes you liable for not switching it off. You should probably check your terms of service. But otherwise, sort of looks to you. Do you recognize this woman? And they flick up one of the whole wall seems to flicker and turn into this screen, and you're presented with the woman in white.
Oh, I have never seen that woman before at all.
No, nor
And
have we.
I can send you my feed. I've got backups. I don't recall her being in any of my shots at all.
We would appreciate that. And you can see this movement of this sort of very juddery screen capture showing this woman. And this man. And you can see a capture, which is obviously from like a camera somewhere, of her holding this gun out towards the man who was in the shop with the bike.
Oh, those are just really good shots. Sorry.
You please remember a man died today.
Yeah. I recognize him as he was in the the mechanic shop, but I never met him. I didn't speak to him. There were a couple people there. Sort of like looking at this person's figure. Um, they look like, I don't know, a regular person, not.
Have you ever seen a regular person do this? And he sort of turns and flips the camera as the person walks out, back down those steps before the shop, and she almost, like pixels, breaks and phases almost out of existence.
Oh, no.
Have you seen anything like this in your lifetime, Mr. Livewire?
One word. No. What is that?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Do you, is now this woman, the woman in white, she looks like a non-modded human?
And he looks at you for a moment, and you can hear that whir of the scanner sort of hovering above your head and going round. It would seem that way, yes.
But probably modded, maybe.
Well, it is interesting because not 10 minutes later, and they flick over to this other video of a landscape that you kind of recognize. Ice, snow, huge buildings, huge industrial sort of manufacturing. It's like 10 minutes later, she is, as you can see, walking on Vade 46.
Okay. Some maybe clones or maybe. Are you sure it's the same? Looks the same, but maybe it's not. And clearly he's just gone into sort of like reporter investigator mode. But if not sort of twins or clones, maybe some sort of that like transportation wouldn't work at all. But then why was she here? Why did she murder some Joe? Just some regular Joe at a garage. That's strange. Okay.
Very strange, Mr. Livewire.
What do you think? Wait, I'm so sorry. What is your name? Monitor.
Just monitor for now, as he looks at you. And you feel like it's probably because of your job. He's
Yeah.
not telling you.
I'll call you Monty. Okay, Monty. So we've got a pickle. What are we gonna do about it? I'm thinking we could probably. I'm guessing she's not from here. If you look at that outfit she's wearing, it's all white, but there's no dirt on it. There'd at least be dirt on the edges. So I'm thinking she's not been here long, or this is not her home.
Have you
Y'all-
ever thought of becoming a monitor yourself, Mr. Livewire?
No.
Okay. And he sort of looks you up and down for a moment. I just thought, I'd ask these questions. Bit of an insight due to and you can see this scanner whizzing round you as he looks down at the palm of his hand, where there's almost like this band that is producing a hologram, which you can see is running your details. Considering your
I appreciate the consult, though. I don't think I have a lot more information to give.
No, I don't think you do either. Apparently, tea is on the way. So if you would like.
Oh, hey, between two professionals, what's gonna happen with the woman?
You're going to have to be more specific.
Miss Zhenfeng.
What about her?
I mean, what's going to happen with? I mean, she's. I mean, her family. I mean, here on this planet. I mean,
Mr. Livewire, I don't think that's any of your business.
No, I was just asking.
No, you were prying. And he sort of stands up and opens the door. We may need to ask a few more questions. If you could step out, please.
He steps out, just sort of noting all the information that he got in the interview, walks by, sort of nods to Zarina, and sits back down looking for Loxy and Cantor.
And at that point, there's this sort of, you can see this person in the corner juddering, sort of moving this arm that's far too big, just a little bit here and there, as he sort of looks around the room without trying to make any form of eye contact. And I think we will take a quick 5-minute break as we do that. So I'll hand back over to Greg.
5 minutes, not a second longer. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, hi. We are going to dive back in with Loxy, as Loxy is in the interview room. And there's this second where you are invited into the room. You can feel this scanner on you immediately. It's almost like you pick it up, you sense it as it goes round, it starts whirring, it does all the usual stuff. And as you sit down, this gentleman with the dark hair stands this time and looks at you directly. Did you have any idea as to the man who lost his life today?
No, I've only met him today.
What was he doing in your shop? It's called something machines. Sorry.
And Anschins?
Anschins machines. Yep.
Mhm.
And he sort of makes a note. What was he in there for?
His bike had a loose wire connecting his battery, and he needed it repaired.
Right. He looks over you and he's like, how long have you been on now, Marius?
A few years now, yeah.
And why now, Marius?
There's lots of opportunities for work here.
It's true, but you came from a rather wonderful place to have grown up, to come here. Do you miss it? Do you miss the trees, the plants, the sunlight?
I do very much, but it's kind of hard to beat the hustle and bustle of a city like this.
And he smiles, like, no, I get that. And he sort of looks over you again, and you can see him sort of almost like hold his eyes shut briefly, almost like he's got a headache, and then opens them again. And the woman, have you seen the woman before either?
No, I only saw her for a brief moment before she pulled out that gun.
Yes. We are going to have to check all of your CCTV and everything like that, if that is at all, of course, possible.
By all means. There should be a couple of cameras aiming right at the spot where she...
Yes. And he looks at you very long, and again you can see that sort of like twitch of the headache. And could you roll me an intellect check, please? No score. I just want to see how much you see.
Maybe, 1 second. Okay, here we go. No difficulty?
No difficulty for now. Okay. So you look at this person, and you can see those two altered eyes. And as you do, there's this second of, you know how machines work.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching his eyes, and it's not a headache. You're reading almost like a flicker in his eyes, almost like not a malfunction, but it's got that same sort of twitch. And he sort of frustratingly sort of rubs the side of his head for a moment and looks back towards you like,
Are you all right, sir?
Yes, I'm absolutely fine. And again, just closes his eyes for a brief moment. And you can see the very stereotypical, that blue sort of swirl of color in both the eyes. And as he's sort of blinking, you can see it flicker to like a yellow and an orange and then back to blue. Would you mind just... Sorry, yes, continue.
No, do you mind 1 second? I'm not super familiar with mods, but I do have some idea with technology and machines. Do you want me to?
No. That won't
Okay.
be necessary. There's nothing.
Okay.
It's just a headache. And he sort of looks past and moves out of the. It's almost like he takes a step back from you. He's like, if you could please just wait outside, I'll get my colleague to
Yeah.
finish the interview in a
do
moment.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic. And he winces and he holds the door open for you, and almost as soon as you step out, you feel it shut behind you. And as soon as Livewire is shown out, that Zakaran sort of steps out and looks towards you, Cantor. He's like, "Come with me, please, sir." Yes, you.
Hey, Monty.
Please don't call me that.
Okay. I'm gonna beam him my contact information.
And he sort of pauses for a moment. Why?
You know, maybe sometime we want to have a coffee not in the station to chat.
You want to chat with me?
Yeah.
Why?
Colleagues chatting.
But we're not colleagues. And no one chats with me.
But we could be colleagues, and who knows? Maybe we hear things on the streets we can share.
You said you didn't want to be a monitor.
I don't want to be a monitor.
I don't want to be a streamer.
But two great tastes could taste great together. For
Taste
coffee.
great.
Look,
Co-
think
If
about
you-
it.
If I will think about it, but if you could go sit on that chair right now, that would be great.
Also, would you just, for me, be a little kind to Cantor. He's older. Be gentle.
And he looks over at him. He's like, I treat everyone equally.
But be a little nicer to him if you could. For me.
And he gives you a look. He's like, why for you? I don't understand.
And you know, and he gives him a smile in that sort of like we are friendly sort of way together.
Right.
I feel like this is going to be a persuasion, some kind of pleasant to because you know Cantor,
Pleasantries. Yes. No, I will be as kind as I am.
As Cantor would get up then, and as this exchange, he catches a bit of the exchange between Monty and Livewire. He would stop for a second as he looks back between them, not realizing really who is speaking up, standing up, protecting him. But now he sees Livewire as if we're face claiming here, like Angela Bassett. And he stops and looks for a moment, and his eyes drift. He would look around for Locks. What do we...
Mr. Cantor, if you could come with me, please.
Okay.
It's okay, everything's fine. It's just routine questions. I won't keep you long.
Okay. And he would continue to cast glances back at Livewire until he's ushered into a room.
And as I pass by Cantor, I just put my hand on his shoulder and give it a little squeeze, like the upper arm part right there, as we pass in a gesture of comfort.
If that happens, he would stop and look directly at Livewire and say, Melissa?
It's okay. You'll be okay.
Mr. Cantor, please. And he sort of offers a hand himself and half guides you in. Gives a nod to Livewire. And you do see Loxy exit the interview room very quickly. But the door closed behind Cantor. And in the interview room, you can see that scanner, that droid whirring around this sort of white and yellow sort of disc that spins around. You can see the scanners going through. Please take a seat.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Cantor, here are your possessions. And he sort of like brings out this plastic bag, which you can tell has there's like some wire, like some of that blue static that runs over it, which you know is there to protect it. It's like a Ziploc bag. And you can see that box that the guy gave you, along with just some of your other bits. And the box has been opened. And he pushes it across the table to you. Like, you may take back your possessions. That is absolutely fine. Didn't find anything too untoward there. Mr. Cantor, what do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
Retired. Okay. What did you do? Out of interest.
Was a courier.
Korea. No, that's a good noble job. Very stress-inducing sometimes, though. You know, got to get past all the traffic in Amirius at certain times. But yes. And he sort of pauses for a moment again, checking his notes. How has this affected you, this scenario?
Being here,
The event, the murder.
Off-putting.
That's a good way of putting it. I see that you often, in fact, daily, visit the machine repair shop under Miss Loxy. Yes, Loxy.
Yes. I help now and again. I organize people.
Organize people, okay. And you recognized none of those involved, the woman, the gentleman. He did seem to be leaving the back room with you with a bike.
I didn't know the gentleman. I had seen the lady, though.
You've seen the lady? And he immediately perks up, an eyebrow raised. He's like, and where had you seen her?
When I was on my way to the shop, she was looking for someone. Guess she found him.
I guess she did, as he sort of looks down. So you do not recognize this face at all, and the two almost like portraits flash up on the wall behind him. You don't recognize either of these individuals other from today's events.
I don't think so.
And you can tell like he's looking you up and down, sort of a little bit confused by your demeanor and everything, and he reaches out towards the scanner and takes the information and looks down at it for a moment, and then looks confused, looks at your face, and looks down again. Mr. Cantor, was it?
Yes. That's my name.
Just give me one moment. And he sort of presses the side of his head, and you can see one of his eyes just starts running documents. You can see words going at this just so quickly. And he stops again. I'm sorry, I just had to run something by my colleague. Mr. Cantor, you're on none of our systems.
When I was a courier, they kept me off a lot so I could...
No, Mr. Cantor, you don't understand. May I see your hands?
Why do you need to see my hands?
I just need to see your hands, Mr. Cantor.
I'm helping out any way I can.
It is appreciated. Do you wear gloves?
Yeah.
I think if you hold your hands like that, may I take them off?
Okay.
Thank you. And he holds both of your hands. He sits down now opposite you. How often do you take your gloves off?
Only when he's working.
And he looks over them, sort of turns your hands backwards and forwards, sort of even with his own, just sort of presses his fingertips against yours as if he's looking at everything. Mr. Cantor, you're not on any of our records, and he holds your hand almost up to you. You don't appear to have any fingerprints. Is there a reason I should know why you don't have these things?
I was a courier. I carried sensitive items.
Sensitive items. Interesting. You see, you are an anomaly, Mr. Cantor. A glitch in the system. You shouldn't exist. We have records of everyone. Why don't we have records of you?
I'm just retired.
You keep saying this word retired and that you were a courier. I wasn't aware. The couriers needed to wipe their fingerprints, needed to disappear off the system.
It's a part of the retirement. We just go away.
Mr. Cantor, we both know that's not true. No one just goes away.
Can I go now? I haven't had anything to eat today.
I believe my colleague is bringing tea through. I will get him to get you something to eat as well, but I will need you to remain in the room for questioning.
Does he still have Cantor's hands?
He's sort of let go at this point.
Are
Like,
they-
not, they're like right next to you, but he's just sort of like dropped them on the table rather than, he's not clinging onto you.
I have to try to take his memories.
Okay, roll for me. Let's have a look.
I'm gonna spend an effort as well on this. Any difficulty, or you just want me to roll straight up?
You do have advantages too.
I'm going to get you to roll a 4 purely because he has the information in front of him.
Okay, so that would take it down to a 3 with effort.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to be using an advantage here too. So. Failure. I'll roll it again. I'm super nervous. This goes all sorts of bad.
Geometry. But you don't get the GM intrusion, so it's okay. Because you used an advantage.
Then
what does it look like as you're trying to do this?
Well, we talked about this, Alice, and this would be when Cantor fails to hold what he needs to hold, and so Cantor would be sitting there and he would look across as he grabs the hands, and as his eyes close, when they open back up, just don't remember, just forget.
Is that What happened, Mr. Cantor, as he sort of pulls his hands away from you? Did you forget?
He's going to try to run.
Okay. Can you make a speed check for me, please, to make a run for the door? Straight up.
Strong 7.
You roll and you sort of start, you run towards the door and you start shaking it and you realize it's shut, and he stands up behind you. And he takes the bag with your belongings in, the box and everything else, and sees you panicking. Mr. Cantor, there's nothing to panic about. Please do not forget your things. But I would ask that you remain in the waiting room.
Okay.
I'll get some of that food for you. And he walks over, and you see on his hand this sort of glow just along here and at the tips of his fingers as this sort of golden glow hits the door handle. You hear an unlock as he turns it and opens it for you. Mr. Cantor, don't run. It makes you look very guilty.
I didn't do anything.
I know. Please take a seat.
He'd go over and sit down.
And the interviewer closes the door behind them. Tea is brought in. And Cantor, you are indeed brought just something to eat. It is pretty standard, it's pretty boring, bit chewy. There seems to be some form of biscuit, but it's questionable. And you are all sat in this room for a moment. Is there anything you would like to do whilst you are waiting silently? You all have tea and biscuits.
I think Zarina and the teapot, yeah. I think Zarina would have her tea and just pull out like a straw attachment from behind her rebreather and just stick it into the cup, take a couple sips, and then with like the straw still in there, kind of turn awkwardly to Livewire sitting next to her, just plop himself down and excuse me, sir, I couldn't help but overhear earlier. You mentioned something about feeders in the area? Attacks? I'm sorry, could you speak up for me, please? It's just, you're so quiet.
I'm sorry. There's been some attacks of feeders in the area. People who are heavily modded, I think. And you look pretty heavily modded, miss.
Yes, I just earlier today was apparently a target of one of these attacks. I was just curious if you knew anything else.
Specifically?
Seems so. There's a feeder in your mail and the groceries. It's a bit targeting.
Do you have a safe place to stay?
Well, the monitors are doing a sweep of my apartment, so it should be fine.
No. If you've been targeted, that means that somebody knows where you live and they can come back. I've got a mechanic friend, Loxy. She might have a place you could crash that maybe whoever's targeting you might not know.
I see. Yeah. Like, this guy is asking me if I want to stay at his friend's place.
At his friend's place? Yeah, I know, but I'm super sketch.
Thank you for your concern, sir.
No, seriously though, if people know where you stay and where you live, you should probably, not be there in case they send more. I mean, send them one time, you can send them a second time.
Yes, The authorities are going to be sweeping my apartment. I'll be looking into security upgrades, and I have someone I know that may be able to assist.
Loxy. Sorry. Loxy.
What's up, Livewire?
Um, this young lady's got I think she's being targeted. Maybe you have a safe house or something, someplace she could stay,
A safe house? I mean, I've got my garage.
someplace. Do you have like a? I mean, there were. She had feeder attacks.
I mean, I could. Loxy's gonna like look around at the environment, knowing full well we are in a monitoring station. Yeah. Be like, I mean, I could try to beef up security on my garage, make sure everything's extra secure. I mean, I don't want feeders coming into my place either.
Quite understandable, ma'am. Sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name's Serena.
Loxy. Nice to meet you. You got a feeder attack? My friend here was saying that
yeah,
his friend is also being targeted, possibly.
And I just sort of put my hand on Cantor's shoulder to make Cantor feel better.
What is Cantor doing as he goes back into the room after that?
He's just staring at his hands, like staring at his palms.
And Labra just sort of like, puts that hand on his shoulder to make him feel better.
He wouldn't acknowledge it this time.
Yeah.
What about Hybria? Is she just enjoying her tea?
Serious question, is the tea hot?
It is actually hot. In fact, it looks like there was a lot of care that went into this. Very shaky officer delivered it and left again.
Mm-hmm. Is it in a teapot? Is it in a thermos? Is it in something that will keep it hot?
It is in one of those, it's like a thermos pot.
Correct.
As it is, and it's on this tray that is sort of hovering by the window, where people can go up and pour more.
So she's gonna stand next to the tray and just basically ignore everyone in the room. That whole time Livewire was talking to the monitor and being like, hey, we should get coffee. Like, she would have been just staring out the window, but her face would have just been one of like absolute disdain. So she's just staring out the window, she's sipping her tea, and she's waiting to see the car that will pick her up, but she's staying very close to that teapot.
From where you are, you're probably the closest to the other person in this room that has currently still got a monitor with their hand on the shoulder. You are kind of between him and Cantor, and you look out the window and it is busy. It's that point in the evening where people are coming back and forth from work, or at least going out now for the evening, so there's a lot of traffic. It is getting darker than it usually is. All of those sort of signs are lighting up. You can even hear that as things start powering up more and more, these huge fluorescent tubes down sides of buildings. You can see some of the food trams have been turned into these almost like bars towards the end of the evening as they sort of drift past. You can see the lights are turning on. You see people in there. They're dressed up a bit. They're having drinks and things like that. This is when the city really starts to come alive. And you all sit quietly in this room for a time. And then could you all roll me a straight up intellect check, please?
Sure thing.
No difficulty, just... Oof. Okay.
I beat 6. Oh, I get a minor effect, or I get a special minor effect.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you get. Let's have a look. You were all sat there And Livewire, you pick it up first. You notice that block that keeps you from streaming is down. You can hear it as if it's trying to come through, but it's not working. Like you're picking up your go back screen, you're picking up everything that you can normally access is now there.
I don't like this at all, and I look around real quick. This is the weirdest thing. It's like I'm imagining an attack is going to come, and I just say, shut down your electronics. And I
literally can't do that.
No, do it.
I will die.
Do you have any further information as to why this is pertinent right now that you would like to share with us, since you are so open to sharing information?
Something's coming.
As you say that, Hyray, you hear a bang and a crash, and from your angle you can see the room that Loxy came out of. It's like something is banging against the door, banging against the wall. You hear something fall over and crash.
I think it's an attack on the AI.
The interviewer that I was in the room with, his eyes kept changing color. I don't know if it has anything to do with that. I wonder if is he still in there?
He must have been, somebody must have attacked him.
You notice, sorry, the officer that is sort of literally monitoring the other guy stands up and walks towards this door and starts knocking and calling through, and takes a step back as more bangs and crashes come from this room.
I make sure I'm between that door and Zarina, so in case anything really bad happens, I'm in between them.
How does the modded person react when the monitor steps away?
You rolled a nat 20. So, as you're stood there by that Tian, effectively, you can see this man juddering. You see him getting more agitated. His head is down. And as he does, you can see that twitch get loud, sort of more and more frequent. And you can hear that high-pitched whir and a heavy breathing coming from his chest, almost like there's a respiratory sort of augmentation in his throat, and you can hear it. And it is getting more and more rapid. The banging from the door is starting to get more violent. And you see a crack emerge. And you hear a hiss of steam as one of his arms, he starts to roll it. And he starts to he's not standing up, he's still looking down. But Hybria from where you are and Cantor from where you are, his head is still lolling, almost like it's trying to focus on something, its eyes blinking over and over. And then you hear that whine, very much like the one that you heard outside the window. And there's sort of a crack as he starts wearing his other arm. And this other arm is fully human. Maybe it's the only thing on him that is. As he looks up, and you can see these eyes stop and focus on both Cantor and Hybria, as one of them starts to enlarge and starts almost like it folds out over the side of his face and swirl orange. And you can feel him looking into you. And Hybria, from where you are, you almost feel like you can hear your own voice running through all of your information, everything you've ever known.
Like I hear that audibly out loud or like in my head?
You hear it in your head. And he stares at you. He stares at Cantor. And his head flicks and snaps around the room as he starts to stand up.
Loxy's gonna flip her goggles down to see if she can glean anything about his machinery.
Yeah, roll me an intellect check, please. Straight up.
I've registered that his stuff's black market. I'm
Yeah.
looking for any identifying pieces or potentially places where they may have come from based on the work he has done.
Yes, can you roll me an intellect check as well? We're rolling well today.
Ooh. Yeah.
And you see him... Sorry, go.
I was just going to say real quick, as soon as Cantor would have felt that intrusion, his resonance field would have snapped up as part of his courier blocking. So that would have... I don't know what that effect that does, but it would have snapped up around him.
And it sort of pauses for a moment, and you see him stand up and look upright and look around the room. That monitor's still not noticed. He's banging on the door now. As you can see, this other door from the other side is starting to break, and the other monitors are heading in to try and sort out whatever this is. And Zarina, you can pick up some definite symbols of certain manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
All black market. None of this is legal at all.
Yeah, just making note of who did this work in case he gets out of hand.
And as he stands upright, he seems to swell a little bit as if he grows maybe 3 or 4 inches in height as he stands up. And Loxy, where you're sat, you pull the headset down. And there's a moment where you have to flick a few switches, like you're checking every single channel, every single maintenance thing you go through. And you stare. And you can see it give the read off of this man's body. This man is no longer here. He is physically, but you can tell from the amount of machinery attached to him, he's been hacked.
Mm-hmm.
This is not... Whoever this looks like, there is someone else looking through his eyes. And you can tell that there are main focuses as he darts from Hybria. He looks towards Arena. He doesn't even look at the monitors. He pauses on live wire, and you see the eye swirl. And then he looks to Cantor. And he focuses on him for a little bit. And then he looks to you, Loxy. And he just stares.
I'm gonna flip my goggles back up. Gonna look over to Cantor. Gonna look over to Livewire. Look back at him. Gonna sort of just do like one of these.
Cantor's going to stand up and match height with the person. Everybody go.
Cantor, I'm not gonna leave you here.
Everybody go.
I'm like right next to Cantor and like next to this guy, right? So, and he's looking in kind of the other direction, I assume?
He's now looking at Cantor.
Okay. Well, still kind of not direct line of sight to me. Hybria's going to grab the tea thermos and she's just going to say, I do not know if all of these dramatics are really necessary for what's happening right now, but it seems as though you are going to be a problem. And she's going to throw the tea into his face and at the same time try and move forward to like grab his shoulder and like force him to sit down again with like a big push.
Roll a might check for me, or I can offer you a GM intrusion.
Oh.
I'm pretty mighty, surprisingly, so I will attempt my might. Remind me how edge works again?
Your edge is it makes it a lesser level in this.
Okay, I will use my edge as well. So difficulty
5.
Okay. Cool.
Advantage.
I'm going to use an effort.
And we have advantage.
And we have advantage. So first one is a failure. And next one is...
So this will be difficulty 4 you need to hit, right?
yeah, but
Correct,
my last
you'll
one only
take
be difficulty 3. Do I still get to use my effort with the advantage?
Yes, it is the same roll twice.
Yeah.
Still a still a failure.
No. That's a difficulty 4, which is a success. Because it was a difficulty 5, and it gets right.
No,
Oh,
that's
no.
showing
Oh, I
showing
see.
the
Yeah, I put it in with all of this stuff.
Right.
you throw this tian of scalding water at this person, and it just hits them. You can see steaming, slight burns as it runs down, and he does not move. And then he turns away from Cantor,
I start streaming.
and he turns his back and looks towards Hybria. And as he does, are you Zhang Feng?
Actually, the correct pronunciation is Zhen Feng. Who might
Oxy's
be
just gonna
asking?
shout, he's hacked, he's hacked, he's hacked, he's hacked, he's hacked. That man is hacked.
I'm gonna make her disappear.
Shoot.
You roll for me on how quick it is.
Speed.
It is a speed check, straight up speed check.
I don't have a lot of speed, so I'm gonna spend 3 of my pool to bring my difficulty down by 1.
Oh, that's what pool is for. Should have done that.
So that will be, I beat a difficulty 4.
Okay. You have this moment where, what does it look like as you make her disappear at this moment?
So I'm going to have to spend 1 intellect, one of my intellect pool. And what I'm going to do is my computer, which is now whirring back up, sort of, and I start, like, it doesn't look like a lot on the outside, but on the inside there's a lot going on in my mind. And what everybody sees is where Hybria was standing. It's like she's just missing. It's just like the background. It's as if she's been like erased from the space. It's just you can just see the floating tea urn where it was, the wall, the space, all of that. She's just not there anymore, is what it looks like.
How do I feel?
Oh, you're still there.
Right.
you are completely still there, but it's just as if I've repainted the canvas around you to make it look as if you were not there, so that this person, actually nobody would be able to see you. I mean, you're still there, you're fine, but I've just basically repainted reality with projections of like basically holographic projections around you to make it look as if you're no longer there.
As you do this, there are things that you all notice about this person now that they are stood up. Zarina, you know that some of the black market people that have modified him are some of your own. Loxy, you realize looking at this face for the moment, and it's only when you see that one eye and the hair, you've worked on this person before they were at this level. Livewire, you look towards this thing, and it's sort of, you notice whilst you're streaming, it looks exactly by what is most appealing to you.
Ooh. You know,
What does
this,
that look like?
It looks like Zarina,
Mm-hmm.
although slightly younger and less modded.
And this,
Like Zarina's full face.
just as you pause, Hybria, you see this thing looming over you.
And I just say, don't
And
move.
It turns to Cantor. It's been a long time. And there's this second where it turns and looks back at Hybria. And at that same second, it charges towards her as she disappears. And Livewire, you can pick it up as your ability as it runs towards her, grabs her almost around the shoulders, and throws both of them out of that window, crashing through the glass and sending them down through the city of Malmerius.
No!
Question. Does he appear to look like what everyone finds most appealing?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Should
Just
we-
Livewire then.
So the two of them went out?
He literally sprinted forwards, and you see that moment as Hybria maybe gasps or stands. I'm not sure what Hybria would have done, but you feel that force hit you, Hybria, as you disappear. You have that arm wrapped around you, and you just feel that glass shatter. And this is shatterproof glass, so you go crashing through it as you feel that whack. You feel your head hit the back of it, and then just that falling sensation.
And by the way, the minute she moves out of that small zone, she comes back into vision. Because I just sort of zonked out that space where she was.
Can we have a moment to react as she goes out?
Absolutely.
And the person's still there. Did the modded person jump out with her?
With her, literally barreled both of them out.
Cantor would turn to Lox and just say, "Run!" And he's gonna run and jump out as well.
Awesome.
I'm new to Cypher, but okay, so there's something that I want to use, and it says, with computer access, you jack in instantly and learn a bit more about something you can see. Can I I feel like it'd be like almost like a reaction, like as soon as this electronic man touched her and is like falling out the window, she would have just like grabbed that mod, and it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah, roll an intellect check, straight intellect check, just so I can tell you how much you see.
Cool. No
What
difficulty.
floor are we on?
You're a couple of hundred up.
Okay.
That's bad.
I roll a 17.
On a 17, what does it look like as she's trying to access whatever this is?
So like when she does these things, she's not even fully aware that she's doing it, right? So she's like falling, she's got this arm wrapped around her. She would just like grab the guy's face, and unbeknownst even to her, her eyes will kind of like roll back in her head and turn this like glowing bright blue as she like loses herself for a second and dives in.
Okay. Come back to you in a second. What are Zarina, Loxy, and Livewire doing? You've just watched Cantor bolt out of the window.
I have a quick question about my race.
Yes?
We're bird aliens.
You
Do
can
we-
glide.
Oh,
You can't fly,
I'm-
but you can glide.
jumping out the freaking window after Cantor. I'm like, run! No way!
Thank God.
Does Cantor make bad choices?
Cantor doesn't know what he's doing. Let's play the game.
What about Zarina and Livewire? You two are the only two left in the room, and as you are, you can see that monitor that's banging on the door. That door leaves the hinges and is thrown back as this almost what was once this monitor that was once, as you could tell from this cyborg, as he has grown maybe 3 feet as he is trying to break his way through the door.
I look down at Danny DeVito Livewire. And I'm like, we should get out of here and go over to the elevator, because while I do have essentially long fall boots on, I tried it with a jump earlier today and I'm still not fully used to them, and this is a long way up. So she goes in. I think she'd know that most elevators have that thing where you like push and then hold down so that it comes up and opens faster. And
yeah, you can run to the elevator and you're like pressing the button over and over as you see this huge thing start trying to move down the corridor. You see this huge metal arm that shouldn't have grown, but it crunches the side of the door where you have come through as it starts to move. Livewire, are you following?
I keep myself, my little Danny DeVito self, in between this creature and Zarina, and I just say to the other monitors, like, he's been hacked, as I'm moving backwards and preparing to keep Zarina safe. If I, the only way I can, I will do it.
As you are doing this, as you yell, he's been hacked, as this thing comes down the corridor, you get knocked back sideways as one of the monitors' bodies is thrown straight into you, knocking back, and you get the elevator door open. Back out the window, Hybria, you've managed to lock on, your eyes have rolled back, and there's a flash, almost like a memory. You see this face in front of you. You see it walking along the corridor of your family home, as it does when you're maybe 5, 6 years old. A man with green hair, a man with a smile, a friendly one, nowhere near as modded as he is now. As he gives you a smile and brings you your hot white tea and your biscuits before you go to bed at night. And Cantor, you have thrown yourself out of this window. You can feel that wind, that air pressure as it is hitting you in the face. Your body is sort of being flung in all different directions as you lose control and swirl. There's a narrow moment where you can hear the sound of a car horn screeching as you just drop past one side of it. You can hear the screech of traffic as it tries to move. Loxy, what does it look like as you jump out of the window after him? You're muted, Loxy.
Unmutes, and then spreads out her feathers and just sort of is trying to, it's a controlled glide dive. She's just trying to catch up to the hacked person and Hybria, while also trying to use her distant activation skill. Since I've worked on parts of him, and I know how it works, I can use an action to try and deactivate it from a distance instead of, but I have to be able to see him, so I'm trying to get within a good sight.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I can't use that on him. Dang it! Never mind. He's intelligent.
Could you roll me a straight up speed check, please?
Yes. I'm gonna use an effort because I don't know what I'm doing.
Nat 20.
Whoa!
You
Whoa!
launch yourself out of this window, and as you do, you can sort of throw off those sort of pads on the edge of your jacket as that flurry of colored of these feathers come out, and you glide. You have done this so many times. For a moment, it's like you're back in Osira as you weave through every gap you can find. You're small, you're nimble, you sort of take every gap. You can still hear the horns beeping and everything. You can't see the huge mod in Hybria right now. You can feel you're getting close. It's more like you can sense him as you've got your goggles down, as you were all over the place, but you can see Cantor swirling out of control. On a 20, you are able to reach him.
I can reach Cantor?
You can reach Cantor.
I have a second question.
Yes.
Are my arms my wings, or do I have wings and arms?
Your arms are your wings, but it's more like you've got little scrawny arms, but they've got wings attached to them, almost like how a bat is, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to try and grab Cantor so that he's not like spinning out of control.
Okay. And you manage to weave through, and Cantor, you see Loxy coming at you as you sort of spin around and look up, and you feel that woof as that little body hits you, and you both start to swirl.
Can I phone a friend, Alice?
You can phone a friend.
Okay. I'm gonna be using an advantage here. I'm gonna spend some effort and all that fun stuff because I need this to work. I'll just roll it straight up. I'm gonna go ahead and, since I already said I was gonna use advantage, I'm gonna roll it again just to make sure I don't get something super gnarly. Oh, here we go.
Oh, nice. Gnarly.
So as Cantor would be falling, as his hair is going everywhere, he would not really be aware of it as he's inside his mind, racing through a hallway. And he stops and bangs on an ornate oak door, just pounding on it and pounding on it. And finally it cracks open a bit, and a woman with hair tied back in a perfect bun looks and smiles and says, "Oh, now you need me." And his eyes would snap open and he would drop into a perfect aerial dive as he tries to catch up to the falling cyborg and Lily.
Loxy, you feel Cantor move beneath you as you are holding it, and as he goes into that perfect form, you regain that control over your wings as the both of you zip between these cars and these speed bikes, and you can see Hybria in sight, head back, eyes rolled, with this thing sending you further and further down into Nalmerius. And I think that's where we will leave it this week and pick up next week.
Okay.
Change this to less stressful music.
I'm so stressed.
Alice.
I love it. I'm so stressed and I love it.
Okay, I'm going to say something real quick. I always pick art whenever I do a show. My art right now has got to be when Lox jumps out of the window and like bird dives towards old Cantor and like a 3D of everybody falling. That's amazing. I love this game.
This is amazing. This is crazy.
I don't Erica, how are you? Where can we find you online? And what do you think of Alice and her mad genius?
I'm loving this. This is unlike any game I've played before, and I'm so excited. You can find me. My name is Erica Firmino. You can find me all over social media at A Style Pixie. And thanks, Mom. My mom's using my Twitch account in chat right now. So you can find me at 3 p.m. Pacific time on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AStylePixie. And that's my handle everywhere.
Amazing. Let's jump up to Trooper. Trooper, my friend, how are you? How did you like the game, and are you happy with Alice as Mad Genius?
First off, Alice is the best. So yes, we're gonna start with that question first. So great. I love it. Like the things I live for in a game is when I'm like this. All the time. And Alice gives me that. And so I'm full of joy. Also stressed in the best possible way. So much in the game. This was such a good episode. I can't handle it. There was all this stuff. And also there was a window crash and there's falling and like Hulks, Terminators, badnesses, so good. I just that's what I have to tell you. And luckily it's all on stream. This one all on stream, everybody. All of this on stream. So I'm getting the views. That's all I'm saying. Getting the views. Oh, and I'm Trooper SJP. You can find Trooper SJP. The next thing I'm doing is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm GMing City of Light and Shadow, a Fate French Resistance campaign.
Oh, fantastic, my friend. And my other piece of art would be the elevator doors closing on the two of you with you as Danny DeVito.
Yes.
I was gonna say I need art of Zarina and Danny DeVito running down a hallway with a giant thing.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, but Zarina looking the way that Livewire sees her. So it's
Just
Danny
like-
DeVito and an unmodded younger Zarina.
Still modded, but much less modded.
Right. Love it.
A much less modded Zarina.
Speaking of with the Montagues and the Capulets that we have here, let's go over to Lindy. Lindy, my friend, how are you? Where can we find you online? And are you happy with the mad genius sitting beside you on screen known as Alice?
Well, obviously. Yeah, that was super, super fun. I had a blast. I was thinking about it. Trooper and I talked about it last week. Like, what would Serena see? And I was like, I think she'd see Danny DeVito.
Yes.
That's about as opposite as Mario Lopez as you can get.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it. So much fun. I really loved the monitors, especially that one who was super nervous. It was like, yeah, of course we can get teen. No, I treat everyone equally. That cracked me up a little bit. You can find me online at Laugh Love Lindy playing and GMing a lot of tabletop RPGs. Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, we will have Aliens, or once a month, twice this month, Aliens campaign. It's going to be super intense, super good. Producer Trav GMs it. It's exciting and scary. So if you like feeling stressed like this, come watch that tonight. It's great. You can also find me every Monday and Tuesday on my channel for our weekly D&D stuff, and I believe next Saturday morning for Teenagers from Outer Space, Greg depending. So yeah, sounds great. Awesome. Next Saturday morning for Teenagers from Outer Space. Check it out. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for this game again.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic. I'm sorry I didn't realize that I was the deciding vote on that one. Yeah, next Saturday sounds great. Finally, let's drop down. My friend Lily, how are you? Where can we find you online? And are you down with the mad genius known as Alice?
I mean, I'm down because I'm falling down a lot right now. Just casually get defenestrated. You know, don't get to use that word very often.
I'm glad it's
so
not me
there
this
you go.
week. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Alice.
Everyone will
seems
have their moment.
We all get defenestrated once? I'm worried about this.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so Alice, such a good freaking game. I am so in love with all of these characters and this world and just the plot. Like, why is this game only 2 hours? Why didn't we make I need more. I can't I need to binge watch the show that I'm on. So yeah, I'm just blown away. God, so many good moments today. So much love. I'm so curious about who this person is, and yeah, just amazing all around. I also love the little image of Loxy just down into the world. You can find me on the internet. I am on Instagram and Twitter as Lily Sparks with an X. I'm currently on social media hiatus, but if you like this character, I play many characters, and they are all completely different and weird. So you can check them out on the Fabled 42 channel, on the Scraticus channel on Tuesdays with Alice playing and DM'd by the lovely Crit Charisma, and on Fridays we are on a bit of a hiatus, but I'm on the Lady Tiefling channel. And if you want to see me play many characters, I am going to be GMing a game soon on the Gilding Light channel. So that is premiering May 17th, and that is a 4-episode arc. So if you need something short and sweet and super freaking weird, check that out. May 17th, it'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
What's the game? What's the game? What are you GMing?
So we are playing a very, very weird D&D 5e game, and it is going to be called Soul Searching. So think of it as Rick and Morty meets existential stoner magical girl rigmarole is my elevator pitch for that. So that's coming out May 17th, and yeah, I'm super pumped for next week of this game. So yay, so many games.
Love it. And Alice, my friend, where can we find you online? And Alice, are you a fan of the mad genius Alice?
I just love all of these characters, and also how different the roles were tonight, how everyone was just rolling so well. I loved it so much. I love the images of, like, one, Cantor just having no regrets, like that she's just bolting out of the window, and then Loxy like, oh damn, he's actually doing it, and has to go out after him. Just all of it. Hybria's interview with how she's correcting the really nervous monitor, how you've got Livewire and Zarina having that awkward, like, why is this guy trying to sit next to me? Why is this happening? Why does Danny DeVito want to know so much about me? And trying to find me a place to live. So all of those things I love so much. I adore this game. I look forward to every single week. I'm White Rabbit Pick on Twitter. I'm also there on Instagram. I'm a photographer as well. So please go check all of that out. I am one of the founders of the Scraticus Academy. We come and teach people how to play TTRPGs because more people should be playing TTRPGs. I love coming over to this channel. I am also DMing in 4 hours over on the Gilding Light channel with my other long-term Cypher system campaign, Zyra. I think that's it. But yeah, I will hand back over to Greg. I love this game.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This was amazing. Okay, so I got strong Firefly vibes from the interrogation scene where, you know, there was the one where they were interviewing everybody and Jane just had his hands crossed, didn't say anything. I have to admit, she fit in perfectly with being just redirecting sass. No, this is how you pronounce it. Sass, and just having you roll with that and get really like hardcore with everybody else, but really flustered with her was the greatest thing ever. And the fact that that was first to kind of set the stage is awesome. I got
asked like one question.
I know.
Do you recognize
please leave.
No? Okay.
That was
please
amazing.
leave.
I couldn't love these characters anymore. I know that we've all are invested in the backstories that have been created and Alice has helped to foster. And I went into this, and Sphinx said it in chat, you know, I'm creating this off of Johnny Mnemonic, and the ability to make terrible decisions as part of the backstory and then have fantastic RP that surrounds that. I love it. I wait for, why is it not Friday? Grimjack21502 Twitter, Tales from the Grim Twitch. Everybody, we have fun here. Make sure you follow all of these lovely people. They're kind, not just for the lovely things they do online, but for the lovely people that they are when the cameras aren't rolling. Even when Livewire's feed goes dark, they are all still very, very sweet, which is worth more than its weight in anything. I don't have anything else to say. I would just say, Emperor, you're fantastic. Thank you for the donation. Hawk, you're fantastic. Thank you for the donation. Chat Legion, thank you for being there. Thank you for your passionate comments. Thank you for your egging of us on, of challenging Alice to murder us, which is always fun. And then just the unbelievable support of a collective narrative is exactly one of the reasons why it's fun to be with friends all over the place. I'm done. As the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, except this game. We had a lot of nat 20s in this game, but you could always role play. We'll see you next time, friends.